Socialist policies don't work. The problem with them is that you eventually run out of other people's money to spend, which is the exact problem that the country is in right now. Margaret Thatcher stripped out the UK infrastructure and sold it off to the lowest bidder. Seriously, the deals she did were awful. And then she sold off the UK's social housing stock. She then banned councils from reinvesting the money raised into building new houses. Why? I don't know. Probably something about protecting house prices. Typical Tory behaviour. She also crucially sold off the ability for the state to build infrastructure, meaning that everything has to be outsourced to private companies, exposing it to private legal and architectural fees, which tend to run into the billions. And then to compound this, the civil service are incompetent and wouldn't know value if it came along and poked it in the eye. So New Labour are eventually elected with the country already on its knees, but with a booming world economy. Gordon Brown then annexes the Bank of England, making it supposedly independent, and then the government sit on some safe financial planning for the next few years. And then in their second term, they turn on the spending taps. Which is great. The country was desperately in need of some fiscal support. However, nobody ever pointed out that their spending was unsustainable. Don't take it from me, look at the data. Even when Cameron and Osborne came in, they couldn't turn off the spending taps fast enough. And we have locked into government spending that we're going to have to borrow money to fund it. And modern day Britain is just a consequence of that. The welfare state desperately needed reforming at the 2008 financial crash. But with near 0% interest rates, it meant they didn't have to. And so they just borrowed more money. Or in the Bank of England's case, printed more. And the pandemic is what tipped us over the financial edge. We borrowed so much more money than we ever had before. £310 billion. And that's a conservative estimate. And for many years, the UK had been engaging in what many call managed decline, using borrowed money to plug the holes in a social structure that was undeniably unaffordable. And you couple this with letting companies bring in overseas workers on subsidised wages to suppress the UK wage growth, and thus keeping inflation low, and you create a ticking time bomb. And why do we need to understand this? Because the UK population has been sold political promises based on a diet of borrowed money for more than 30 years. And this is the trap for modern day politicians. They know what they need to do. They've known that this was going to happen for decades, but they've all been hoping that they wouldn't be the government to sort it out. Well, for this government, it's Judgment Day, and we're all watching.